gentlemen, it is episode 4 of Boot Scarves 21 Questions. Have no fear, Bytown Boys are here and we stumble on our words. My name is Anton, your host today.
You stumbled on your words.
Yes. My name is Anton, I am back. Thank you to Stephane and Mustefa for hosting the last episode of The Banter. I literally, in Carson City, sitting down in my friend's living room listening to this, I was rolling on the floor, laughing. I was replaying bits and bobs of it, and I was killing myself.
Well, to all the listeners, thanks for surviving us.
Yeah, honestly. I thought people were going to throw their iPods or whatever out the window, no problem.
Yeah.
So today on the show we have, of course, Stephane and Mustefa, and then Terry, who's gladly joined us. Thank you all for making it. Let's get right on to it, shall we, please, and thank you, because this is the part where we're going to start asking random questions and have a lot of fun. So, ladies and gents, are we ready?
We are
We'll
ready.
survive.
We'll survive, okay.
Well, we made it here, so
we've survived the winter.
So, Mr. Stephane, you'll lead us off. Now, MLS just recently had their super draft. For those of you from TFC, we feel your pain. Now, before the draft, they have, like other North American sports, they have a big combine for all their up-and-coming talent. So, first question is as follows. Is the MLS combine an effective way to sign future MLS athletes?
Well, it can be if you don't have an academy system. It's pick one or the other.
Explain this.
Well, it's simple. The academy system is set up for you to train players, to scope out players. But if you're having this combine where you invite players from all over the country to come play, why do you set up an academy system? What's the point? Pick one or the other. By having a combine, you're spending money that you claim you're watching.
Right.
And then you have an academy system, and you're spending more money. Pick one or the other.
Right.
You're either going to be European, you're going to be North American. Pick it and stick with it. Don't say, well, we'll do this, bit of this. You're just pissing off every European-style fan and every North American-style fan. Pick one or the other.
Terrence?
As difficult as it might seem,
He says.
I happen to agree with my son.
Oh,
Run! It's the end of the world.
Okay, it's the end of the episode. Replay.
The Lions were right after all.
He's absolutely right. You either have an academy system or you don't.
Right.
The academy system is set up so you don't have a combine. So you produce your own future players.
There you have it.
Not picking them from somewhere else.
Yeah. Mustefa?
Well, when you guys say you either choose your European system or your North American system, I think right now MLS is leaning towards that North American system because MLS academies aren't that strong right now.
Yeah, with the USL Pro signing thing. They're trying to turn the USL Pro into
a reserve,
the farm system.
Yeah, and like so many things in MLS, instead of going for either Europe or North America, they're trying to integrate the two. And, well, in this case, it's kind of failing because it's right. In this case, it's either or. You can't have both. So
MLS, if you haven't caught on yet,
we've
butchered you how much, and it hasn't even been 10 episodes. Seriously.
Well, they don't want to listen to us because we're right. But no, I'll have to say this though. With the we've bantered on about this non-stop with the MLS and picking their system.
Yeah.
When we say North American, let's face it, we're saying American. Canadians don't know they're wannabe Americans. Mm-hmm. I know that people are going to start yelling and screaming at me, and I'll just stand there and say, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. Ignore them.
Yeah.
But
you're not too far off the mark, man.
We copy everything the States does. Why can't we grow a pair and do it ourselves?
Uh-huh.
The only pair that we seem to have grown is the CFL.
Right. Well, it's the only Canadian league that is strictly Canadian, and it's the only cup that is ours.
Yeah, truly ours.
I mean,
now the thing with North American sports is like soccer, like others, you do have the huge college system, right?
Yeah.
And the draft is supposed to link college with professional.
Mm-hmm.
So teams do have academies where they're free to scout anyone they want, and MLS does have rules where if you sign someone through your academy, they're exempt from the draft. So I guess as long as you have that college system, you have to have the MLS draft, just like other North America or other Americans.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you guys though, because I do find it strange. Like TFC have in history, and other clubs as well, they have in MLS signed players from their academies. But at the same time, like then you have this draft at
and teams seem to pick either academy or draft. TFC seem to go for academy instead of draft, where we just saw them just selling their picks and taking the local kids from the draft.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Biggest headache.
Now Kyle Becker, TFC actually offered this guy a pro contract before, and he rejected it. They take him again from the draft, so it just goes to show how much TFC puts the stock into the draft.
Yep.
But other teams like the Impact seem to put more stock into the draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for MLS clubs, it is an either or type thing, either academies or drafts.
So you get a choice. All right, next up, of the 8 matchups in the Champions League, which match is the most underrated and why? So Mustefa, you want to kick this one off?
I had 2 actually. I'm going to choose one over the other, but special mention to Arsenal Bayern. I know, okay.
Byron
No,
Munchen?
that's going to be a good matchup.
It should be a good game.
Yeah, games.
I know that's what I meant.
Now,
Well, you got Gunners against Germans now.
now the one I'm
World
gonna,
War IV.
the one I'm gonna go with though is PSG against the Spanish club Valencia.
Valencia.
Just because both those clubs are quality clubs, which seem to take a backseat to others.
Valencia is really up and coming, eh?
Yeah. But
Well, this
Valencia
year.
plays in La Liga, and they're one of 2 or 3
But
clubs.
they just got destroyed by Real Madrid today.
Oh, did they?
5-0.
I thought it was 6.
Okay.
Last time I saw it was 5. It was 6. So
I think it was 6, yeah.
I'm just going to check.
But them and Atletico Madrid and 1 or 2 others, they're quality clubs in La Liga that always take a backseat to Barca and Madrid. It's a fair game a bit, but still, I mean, there are other clubs in that league, and it would be nice if they get recognized. And PSG just plays in the French league, which just overall I think is underrated. So
Nope.
Yay!
So-
First boots and scarves. I called it.
All right, Stephane?
Well, I got 3. The best. I'm torn between 2 of them.
you got 3 of 8.
Yeah.
So there
Well,
you go.
I would like to see the Celtic Juventus matchup. Because
Okay.
that's gonna
Well, you've got Juventus,
bus
coming out of.
you got the Italian bus versus the Irish bus. One
Scottish bus.
Scottish. Sorry, I'm used to Irish because of all the green.
I made the
and
same
white.
mistake too. in
Yeah, I
another
know.
episode.
Except I decided to go up down. You just said one thing like, oh.
Of course, if we had an Irish team in the knockout round to the Champions League, that would be huge.
That would be how? Like that only happens in FIFA, and I mean the video game.
And then the police would actually have to watch out for the local snipers.
Yeah, so what? You got the whiskey drinkers versus the Scotch drinkers. Sorry, the Scotch drinkers versus the winos. Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be a real stinker.
But the Shaka and Galatasaray, the
Yes.
Turkish club should be interesting.
No, I was going to go for that one, but it's underrated because those clubs are just from lower.
Yeah. But then the other one that really catches my eye, preferably, is the Shakhtar Donetsk versus Dortmund.
Okay.
That's actually going to be good.
Yeah.
Dortmund should have that.
That's what I would pick as the one
The
to watch.
Shakhtar?
Yeah, the Ukraine versus German matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like they're already bitter between each other.
This is. I mean, you've got everything else is big.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big.
AC versus Barca.
AC
Real
Barca.
versus-
AC Barca have played each other so much in the last year.
It's kind
AC
of.
has played Barca more than they played.
It's almost
other
like the
Milan
Leafs
clubs.
and Sens when they play 8,000 times a season.
Yeah, it's kind of getting over.
But the Shakhtar Dortmund, I think, is the one to watch. It's an interesting one.
You know?
Okay.
It's
That's
a
good.
It's a good neutral match.
Yeah, good games.
Here's a question. Which round are we at now?
We're just in the round of 16. We just.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Well, they don't let you.
And they still do home and away on aggregate each
Yeah.
step of the way. Fuck. Oh man, this is gonna be long. Okay.
Well,
Next-
it ends in late May, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Voyageurs Cup. Now, in the CFL, I'm just using this as an example. There is a rule that on your team you have to have X amount of Canadians or an X amount of percentage of Canadians on your team.
Yep, fair game
Yeah.
for Canadian.
So, should the Voyageurs Cup have a Canadian quota, yes or no? And, for example, do you think teams should have like a minimum like of 5 players or however many?
Yes, there should be a Canadian quota.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is debated for a lot of countries' domestic cups. It's the Voyagers Cup, right? So you're the Canadian champion, I just think. Now this always turns into a quality versus Canadian content debate. Obviously, if you want the tournament to be higher quality for more viewership and things like that, you should, because Canada, let's be honest, clubs generally don't have enough Canadians to make it sufficient quality. But because this is the Canadian Domestic Cup, and let's face it, at this point it doesn't receive a lot of viewership, so why not use it as a chance for just giving teams that extra incentive to develop Canadian players, right?
Well, I agree and disagree on this. I agree that right now, with how small the pool is of the tournaments, yes, we need that mandatory minimum. But if CSA was to argumentatively actually use their brains and expand it to all the beer leagues, Sunday leagues, then we could drop the quota. But because with Ottawa, we're 5 teams in this tournament?
Yeah.
Yes, there should be a minimum.
Yeah.
But if you're, I don't know, like the FA Cup, hundreds of teams, the quota won't matter. But with this small, you need the quota.
Okay. So you're saying yes?
Yeah, I'm saying yes,
Yes,
for the
across the board.
short term, and then no in the long term.
That's fair.
To build the sport.
Yeah, to build the sport, you
in
need
the professional sport.
Yeah, you
to
do.
build it, we need the Canadian quota.
We need a kid saying he wants to be the next Canadian version of Messi.
Yeah.
We need to find that kid who wants to be Messi.
But what it does is, though, if you win it, you represent Canada in the Champions League, right? Now, our Canadian clubs seem to have either gone like the TFC route, where they're willing to play Canadians, or the Whitecaps route, where no, we'll just kind of find loopholes and rules and stuff and not play Canadians.
Yeah.
But this gives clubs like TFC and FC Edmonton an advantage for winning the Canadian Championship,
And
right?
hopefully Ottawa.
And then representing Canada.
We can only cross our fingers.
At the Champions League.
Okay. Now, Gold Cup's around the corner. How would you on earth make this better? Honestly.
All right. I was thinking about it, and I realized, wait a minute, we asked this in the first Boots and Scars.
And I think we had an hour-long discussion.
Yeah, probably.
We did.
But
It was a great discussion.
But the only reason why we bring it up, because it's coming close again, Canada failing in its World Cup qualifying, this is the next big international competition Canada can be part of.
Yeah.
Well, the last time we touched on this, we were talking about the fact that, teams like Canada, Mexico, US, they sort of get a bye. They're not really looked at, but all the other small teams, like in the islands, for example, they have to fight their way to make it.
Yeah, but Mustefa and I were talking about it as well on the banter. The Caribbean teams have to enter in their Caribbean Cup, the top 4 get in, and then it's the top 5 from the Central America's version of the tournament get in, and the 3 big ones get a buy-in. But also, when we were talking about the first time, it was about combining the Gold Cup and Copa America.
Yeah.
Combine them. There'll be so many teams. Okay, yeah, it'll be one continent. But you know what? It will be worth it, because getting into the tournament will be a lot harder. It'll be a lot more grueling. Let's say Canada's stuck in a group with Peru and Argentina. God help us.
Yeah.
But can you imagine people watching those games?
Yeah.
Paying attention to it. We're in
You
a group
definitely get
with
more viewership.
Argentina.
Yeah.
If we can at least try to rival Peru,
Yeah.
we've done good.
Yeah.
If we could pull a draw against Argentina, oh my God!
Played Argentina a couple years ago, and the result was not that good.
Yeah, but you understand what I mean, though. If
We can only
have
hope
that.
it wasn't worse.
But that's what I mean. We need
Actually, that's strange. Honduras beat us by more than Argentina. But go on.
I almost had that out of my memory. Thanks.
We need to drink some more.
Honestly, no, but we have to go that route. CONCACAF has spoken about it.
Yeah.
Like, Copa America has to reach out to other countries outside the region to fill up their tournament.
The big problem, well, for Canada, if we went that route,
Okay.
it would be great to gain interest. We're the only, ourselves and the United States are the only 2 countries where the interest isn't there.
True.
I mean, the smaller countries take it seriously
Yeah.
as it stands. But we are for better or worse, we're North American, i.e. American,
Yeah.
and we want the big names. We want to play with the big boys.
Yeah, we don't want to be stuck in a group with, I don't know, Belize, Jamaica.
Correct, but we can't get out of those damn things,
Yeah.
so that's where we belong.
Yeah, if we can't get out, why should we be allowed in the... Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, guys, you'll hear how my dad and I sound alike in opinions. Except he says it nicer.
But you guys were right. If you combine the two, it would. I'm guessing in North America, it would rival the European Championship.
Yeah.
To begin with.
It would be.
Yeah.
But you've also got to remember, the South America only has 2 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although their second-tier teams are improving.
The second-tier teams are better than the
But was
Than what they
the
Uruguay...
North American second-tier teams. But they still only have 2 teams.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Uruguay won the last Copa.
Oh, yeah.
So...
True. And that's the big thing they were talking about from Canada. If we play Brazil, let's say, well, we're going to get destroyed, but at least people will watch us get destroyed.
And I want to see people who say, well, I'm cheering for Brazil. Where were you born? Ottawa.
Oakville.
Where were your parents born? Ottawa. Where were your grandparents born? Toronto, Oakville. How are you Brazilian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Canada's got a bunch of friendlies coming up against Denmark, USA, and Japan, and within a 3-month span. No, 3-month span.
Hey guys, we made it here. We're good enough.
Which I think is going to be absolutely thrilling because more Canadian footy. Thank you.
Yeah.
To try and erase that again memory.
Never happened.
Yeah, never happened. But do you think this is going to be, something that tells us about, maybe an indication of what CSA has for their future plans and stuff?
No, it doesn't show anything.
No.
Except the teams were available to play.
Yeah.
That's true, because we're going to Qatar to play Japan.
Hey, we're going to Qatar.
We're also fielding our youngest team since 2006.
Yes, we are.
No.
And looking at that roster, I'm scared.
I'm scared, but I'm happy. I just...
What, ours?
Which
Yeah.
it might show that, the CSA has some idea what to do of trying to build
That's
a
stretching it.
team up.
Yeah.
But you can only build with the building blocks you have, and we don't have many.
No.
No. Now,
Again, only 5 teams, right?
Yeah, but I think it's a good sign because it's not like when we played Colombia or Venezuela? We played last year early. It's one of the teams with the same style flag colors.
I think we played Armenia.
No, we lost that one 2-0. I lost $1 on that game. Hey, the payout was 3-1 for Canada to win. I bet $1.
He's gonna
Flash of the
$3.
big time spenders over there.
Exactly. Don't make bets you know you can't win.
You know you're from Vanier when.
Actually, I picked that up playing 31 at the cottage, 15 cents buy-in.
Nice.
Well, for me, the big thing with these games is the timing. Why didn't we have these a year ago?
Yeah,
We were preparing for massive World Cup qualifiers, and we played, Armenia.
yeah. And
And
Trinidad and
and-
But
Tobago.
isn't it the managers who come up with these matches?
Yeah.
There's
Or
a
is it
lot
the
of
governing
factors,
body?
right? I have no clue.
No,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
supposedly
it's the.
manager, but the CSA has.
We don't
to-
have a manager right
Yeah,
now.
but they don't know.
We still don't have a replacement.
And he's not still interim, Miller.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's in for the 2 games.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. We do have an interim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the thing with the CSA is it's impossible to know what they're thinking.
Because they don't know what they're
They
doing.
don't know what they're thinking. So yeah, looking at these 2 games, the timing is awkward, but also the roster we're sending is... Now, the big thing to know, to understand, is these aren't on FIFA dates, so clubs are not obliged to send their players.
Yeah.
We invited a bunch who...
Oh, so it's not on the video
Yeah,
game yet.
Jackson's not playing, I guess. and
Yeah.
then-
Well, we called up Cavallini, who was awesome for us, and his club wouldn't let him go. Will
Is the
Johnson...
Guzman even coming back?
I have no clue.
Oh,
Man,
Well, he doesn't have a club, so why not?
Yeah, he'll show up anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
We called Will
Derizario's.
Johnson. Derizario's in.
He'll show up.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was looking at our roster, and it's great to go with the youth movement, but you have to watch against just handing out caps for no reason. Like some guys on there were just kids I've never heard of. So,
but then again, isn't like I see friendlies from Europe, and some countries do the exact same thing. They're not going to field their ultimate best squad. They'll put out a shit ton of their youngins.
Yeah, friendlies are there. One of the reasons they have friendlies
Preseason games.
is basically pre-season for internationals.
Yeah.
The people they've got their eye on, but they really can't afford to put them in the first team in a big game. But they've got their eye on them. They think they should make it. That's when they test them out and see what they can do.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing seeing a player play at a club level and seeing with all his mates playing, and then putting him in with 10 other players
Yeah.
that he doesn't play with on a regular
Let's see how
basis.
you do on this friendly before we consider you to
Yeah,
play.
can you work well with other people that you don't play with every week?
yeah.
That's what you do it for.
Every
That
sock.
reminds me, I gotta send an email to Matt about the 29th.
Okay.
You heard this on air first.
Yeah.
Sorry, just elaborate.
Matt at Gracie's.
Yeah.
Manager, Voyageurs.
Yes.
See if they're gonna have the game on or at least
Yeah.
the sound
okay.
on.
Okay.
So, since we've already thrown CSA under the bus a bunch, now it's MLSE's turn.
Yay!
Because we haven't done that enough yet.
Oh, we're gonna keep pile driving this. Anyway, so the MLSC, they're considering having TFC's season home opener at Rogers Centre again. Now, last year this worked because it's Beckham, it's Donovan, and who's the Irish guy?
Robbie Keane.
Robbie Keane, who are coming with the LA
Who
Galaxy.
just signed with LA.
It was Beckham and the Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and to
The Galaxy turned up,
Yeah.
and it's a little romantic.
Anyway, it worked last year because of the club and the players that were coming, and they're trying to showcase it. And they filled the building, 60,000
And it was
strong.
Champions League. It was quarterfinal of the Champions League.
It was
But also,
awesome.
they made the tickets cheap.
Yes.
That's the only reason why Aunt Sarah Jane went down.
Yeah.
My aunt from Belleville made the trip down because the tickets were cheap.
Yeah.
There you go. Now they're considering doing this again. All right, seems like a good idea, but who's their home opener against?
Sporting KC.
So, Kansas City, do you think you're going to draw a big ass crowd just like they did last year? Hell no. So, is this, now we already know this is an obvious answer, but we're going to ask anyway, is this a good or bad idea? And please, no holds barred, say why. Go for it.
You have a home ground. It's where you play.
Yep.
You don't play somewhere else
No.
just because you're playing a big team.
Yeah.
You get more, in its own way, you get more people involved by playing at your ground,
Yeah.
your home ground. And if you're smart about it, you can do a lot.
Yeah.
Like they do, we've all seen it. You've seen it in hockey over here in the playoffs. But especially big football games in Europe where they set up the big screens outside
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
and it's like another crowd outside your ground. But it's your ground. This
It's
is
at
where
the ground, yeah.
This is our ground. This is where
This is your
our
house.
team play.
Yeah.
This is our house.
And
Yeah.
we stand our ground. That's the
Yeah.
whole point.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't-
Boys.
Well, one thing what's the date for this game? Do we have that? I think it's March 6th.
Okay, so it's going to be cold sitting
No,
outside.
that's the thing. It's not just
March 2nd is TFC's first game is March 2nd. That's away.
Yeah, so we're still early March.
March
Now,
9th.
BMO Field was built on the really cheap for I think 20 or 40 million. And one of the great things about BMO Field is it's not.
I wish I could consider 20-40 million cheap.
Well, what's the Cosmos new stadium? They're paying 400 million. That's
not-
ridiculous.
Well, they want it
Wow.
downtown New York. What do you expect it to be?
It's going to
Anyway,
be no
BMO
better than BMO. It's just on a small tract of land.
One of the great things about BMO Field is they forgot to winterize it. So if you have to deal with frozen pipes and all that stuff, and that's one of the reasons they have. MLSE is saying they have to have it in Rogers Centre.
Well, I heard the last time when this was brought up for the Galaxy game, I heard, well, they're worried about fan safety on this in the stands because it's steel, it's metal stairs. And
What, they're gonna try and lick the stair? God, give me a break. Hey, it's Toronto. It's not that cold.
Hey, you haven't seen the fans we have. Trust me.
Well, okay.
You bet someone a beer, they will do it. They're that drunk before they go to a TSC game, so be that drunk to do it.
Anyway.
Next.
So now, I'm sorry I have to mention Man Useless, but Man U drew to West Ham. Arsenal drew to Swansea to force a replay in the FA Cup. Now, does it mean that the big clubs are, care more or less about this tournament, in your opinion?
Well, I think they care more, but they don't in a way. They're putting it on for show.
Yeah.
Like, if it
Do you think they're just becoming too arrogant and full of themselves?
Well, Arsenal can't afford to be.
Yeah. I think we need to win a cup before we do that.
Yeah, they need to win a cup. So Arsenal probably not. And also, Arsenal is playing Swansea, and Swansea is no longer that pushover promoted team.
They're not a bitch.
When they came up, people thought they were a bit of pushover. They learned the hard way.
Yep.
And it's okay. Maybe they'll go down this year, and they're learning again. I think Swansea's planning to stay. So,
why the hell not, man?
So maybe Arsenal won the replay. So good on Arsenal for winning it. But Man U beating West Ham, they
Now for Man U, they're on top of the Premier League, so in a way they have to choose. If they chose to stay on course with the Premier League and try to win that, obviously the FA Cup takes a back seat.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, why not stop it? Why stop at just finishing first in your table? Why not go win as many cups as you can?
I think that's in his contract to try and compete for these trophies.
Then go for it.
The big one is the FA Cup now takes second place to the European Championship League. Winning the European Championship League is now more important than the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It used to be the FA Cup and the league. It's now the league and the Champions League.
Yeah.
Then the FA Cup.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
No, you're bang on. It's sad but true.
It just isn't as important as it used to be because it used to be the only show in town.
Yeah.
Right.
But now you can pop on the TV and watch anything.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about for viewers. I'm talking for fans. I'm talking for the clubs themselves.
Yeah, but it's also about all revenues as well. That's the other thing. They can't make as much money off the FA Cup as they can off Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the TV rights are spread around the teams by the FA. So.
Okay, hold on. How much was Torres bought for? For Chelsea, was it 40 million?
Oh, don't ask me.
Yeah, I think it was. Okay, I was listening to the footy show and they talked about it. So, well, with all the TV rights, if you go all the way to the final of the Champions League, you net $60 million. So paying 40 million for Torres or Abramovich was thinking to make 20 million in profits.
Yeah.
The FA Cup TV rights, argument's sakes, let's say 10 mil. Tops.
Yeah.
Like they had to sell the naming rights for the tournament now, so it's the Budweiser FA Cup. I still call it the FA Cup.
It's the FA Cup.
It's the FA Cup.
I learned it as the Carling League Cup or the Carling Cup. I still call it the League Cup. It's now Capital One Cup. I still call it the League Cup.
Yep.
So it's all about money now.
You notice
naming rights,
but you notice they've. Newcastle has gone back to St. James's Park.
Did they get rid of it? Ha! Yes.
Well, no, you guys just nailed it because this turned into a money discussion, right? And that's that's
where it all lies.
Yeah. So
that's where all sport lies, right there.
So, yeah, to answer that question, it's
money.
Please, financial fair play kicking soon.
All right, so now we're gonna throw NASL under the bus.
I don't think have we ever done that?
No, this will be a first.
Hey, we're breaking it in. So first of all, here comes another obvious questions, boys. Are they, the NASL, the league, are they setting a bad precedent by allowing teams, Cosmos, for example, to skip half a season?
I think they are, because if you're part of the league, you're part of the league. You stay the entire season. If you're in MLS, you don't have the choice of playing half the year, right?
Yeah.
So
Or in any league.
Yeah. Now,
Unless you're Villa.
yeah. Now the Puerto Rico Islanders kind of had a case for skipping half the year because they have issues with their stadium. It's kind of legit, but it's not. Like, you're part of the league, you play the entire season. The Cosmos just took half a year off because they're not prepared.
Yeah.
No, that's not good
Yeah, but
enough.
that's all excuses.
It's all excuses.
Yeah, so Cosmos starts the following year for the full season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why the hell not?
Now you're just giving teams the option of skipping half a year because they don't feel like playing.
Because to me, this is all like CSL all over again with CCFC.
Yeah.
You know?
And weren't we hearing Ottawa thinking about skipping half a year?
Yeah, Pat mentioned
Yeah.
it, talked about it, but
Oh, that
I
sends
hope-
shivers.
like when we spoke about
Because
it,
then what you do is meaningless.
Yeah.
Because every other team's played X number of games.
yeah,
And then
and
you just suddenly
played
show
X,
up.
You play
Yeah.
half X games.
So other teams
And-
are getting fatigued, they're getting injuries, and meanwhile you
And-
just come in fresh halfway through.
but also you don't gain the money value the other teams get. You lose money. You have all this merchandise sitting in your stock room
Yeah.
to sell to the fans
Yeah.
for half a season, and no one's buying it because no one's going to the games. That's money that could be sold.
And you need to generate that interest from the get-go.
Exactly.
So, there you go.
It just makes the league look bushy.
Let's
too.
bring in a team in mid-year. Let's say, for argument's sake, Ottawa, when CFL will be up and running. Also, NHL is starting to talk again,
Yeah.
and so is OHL. Are you going to be able to compete? You'll be able to compete during the playoffs because, let's face it, Ottawa will probably get knocked out early again.
Knowing our luck, yeah.
So for NASL, it's horrible. For me, it's a horrible move letting teams skip that half.
But I
year.
don't think it's... I can't remember
Well-
the commissioner's name. I don't think it's his decision.
Whose
I
is
think-
it? It's the board.
I think it's the board that's allowed it.
Well, whoever
Oh,
it is,
boy.
straighten that out because
Yeah.
Honestly,
be letting teams skip
this
half a
is...
year.
Yeah.
You gotta-
Stick to your own rule book, you know?
Yeah,
Where
I
have
mean,
we heard this
It
before?
should be either you're playing this year or you're not, and if you're
I've
not,
never read anything in the Mexican League doing this, and this is the system based off the Mexican League,
yeah,
correct?
Yep.
I read one instance where a team thought of it. The league said, "There's a high school pitch, use it."
Yeah.
They just turned around and said, "Okay, use your rivals."
Yeah.
They just turned around and said, "No, you're not getting out of this."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with Ottawa, as we said last time, use Terry Fox.
And it wasn't supposed to happen, but Cosmos set the precedence, right? And then Islanders followed suit, so now other clubs like Ottawa are starting to consider it, which is...
You mean, if your stadium isn't ready, you either say, well, we can't do it this year,
Or you find an alternative
or
location.
you find an alternative
Yep.
to struggle through for the part of it.
I still find it hilarious that third world countries in Africa have less time to set up major stadiums for a World Cup tournament, and us in North America can't do shit with this league, and we
You
can't.
gotta remember though,
Oh
South
my
Africa,
God.
FIFA stepped in to help with those.
I'm just saying.
South Africa's hosting the African Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying they had less time and
Actually,
they had to do
Libya
more.
was supposed to host it, eh?
Was it a stadium thing that they couldn't?
No, because of the civil war that just happened.
Okay,
So
okay, fair enough.
They couldn't do it.
NATO bombing didn't help them.
A bomb missed. It kind of landed in center field. It landed in the
That game started with a bang.
Now with the NASL, like they're currently at 12 teams. How many more teams do we see before NASL abandons this? Split 2 seasons in 1 year.
Well, go ahead.
I'm just going to throw in something quickly here. What wasn't written in the question when this was written? It was because Indy joined the league,
Yeah.
Okay.
so that's why it's up to 12 now. So go ahead.
They have to abandon it at some point. What I hope they do is keep it, but have still two games home and one home game, one away game against every team. kind of keep the 2-season format, but basically, so one half of the season you'd play the away game against the team, and then in the second half of the season you'd play your home game against the side.
Right.
So you'd still get one home and one away. You'd still have the 2 seasons, and overall, I guess it would end up being fair because you still played everyone home and away.
I think that would be very interesting. You have an entire first half of the season away, so we're all just going to...
Well, no, like you'd have home and away.
I think it'd be... No, but I'm just saying it'd be hilarious as shit if that actually transpired.
But again, it's... If anyone pays attention to the Facebook discussion, Anton and I had about this, it was how much longer can you go expanding till you have to drop this system? Because this is NASL's cheat for having a playoff. Winner season A versus winner seasons B.
Yes.
That's their cheat for the playoff. How long can they survive?
See, but that I don't mind. Like, if it just means the top 2 from either side, score off for a final, okay, cool. If that's how you go on to figure it out, that to me, that's okay. But I do agree that we should have, one table, home and away, everybody. That's it.
Even
and then if you finish first, you finish
table.
first.
Yeah, true, they do.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is, what are they going to do when they have too many teams? Is it going to be the single table, or do you go back to playoffs?
They're going to go
Knowing
back.
them, they're going to go to playoffs.
They're going to have to go, unless if they decide to expand, if they can hold off expansion for 4 years and just grow inside the teams.
Yeah.
Like, argumentatively, Ottawa can bring out 10,000 fans per game. You notice I said argumentatively.
You still laugh, whatever.
My dictionary's packed away. We can't
No, that was correct.
Okay, but that sort of
For
mentality.
argument. I don't get put in.
For argument's sake.
Yeah, for argument's sake, yeah. But if you can pack it,
It is packed. We just said that. The dictionary's packed.
For more entertainment from Stephane and his old man, join us at bars on regular dates and just buy the beer and enjoy our conversations. You might enjoy yourself a bit too much.
Because you might actually join in one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Regret it for the rest of your life.
Just like you did, right?
Exactly.
But now you got me off track on that one.
Oops.
Yeah. What else don't we don't? No, but you can't go that. You need to build up your core base before you expand. But if you build up your core base so well with this mentality of the one table, if you try to go back to playoffs, your fans will revolt. And the good thing about the NASL compared to the MLS, Mustefa's pointed this out on the pods and in his blogs. The NASL looks at the supporters and their fans before they look at their business.
Yep.
So if the fans are not coming to the games because of this new system, the league's going to go to the supporters and say, why aren't you coming to the games? Well,
scrap your shit.
We don't agree with it. We prefer the other system. We prefer the one table. Okay, if 7 out of 10 fans say they prefer the table, we should look into this. Our market's telling us what they want.
Yes. Yeah.
We've said this before about the MLS. The MLS fans have screamed and yelled at the MLS what they want. Your market is telling you what they want to do. Any sound businessman wants the market to tell them what they want. Everyone's going, what does the market want? What does the market want? Hi, we want this, this, this. We want this, this, this. Here's our Christmas list. You're Santa Claus. We're 8 years old. Here's our Christmas wish list.
For 8 years old with beer.
Yeah. And Papa's just smiling, shaking his head.
Hey, it's all in good fun. Now, NASL, like you mentioned, newest team, more recently. They decided to add Indianapolis, as you mentioned. Now, when will the NASL take a break from expanding?
Hopefully now. I'm going with now.
Because, I mean, like, from what I've been hearing from you guys is, like, okay, we heard about Ottawa getting the expansion. I thought, sweet. Okay. But then all of a sudden you hear, about the Islanders, Cosmos, Indianapolis. I'm going, whoa,
Islanders have been there for a while, mate.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, TFC played the Islanders. And,
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
The fact that all these teams are popping out, sprouting out of nowhere, like, all at once, NHL doesn't do it that fast. NFL doesn't
Oh, the
do it that
NHL
fast.
tried, and where did that?
I know. No. I'm just saying, on level of speed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Never mind the amount of teams. It's just the fact that they've got, instead of, professional sports, they do one team at a time.
Yeah.
At best, two. That's it. But then here you've got this league where there's half a dozen almost. I mean, shit.
Well, they need teams if they're going to be a continental league. They need they were at a couple years ago. They were at 8, I think, and that's just not enough in order to be a serious league. You need the teams there. So now they're up to 12. I don't mind them bringing in a couple teams per year, but you need requirements. You need a good owner who's committed. You need cash from him, and you need the stadium. I think as long as you have that, and you have at least
a core group,
and you need fans who are interested in actually going to these games.
So if you know the market has at least a supporters club with that's committed. I don't see a problem with adding teams until you're up to about 15, and then one team dropping out won't kill the league or things like that.
One thing I'd love to see though is Tampa Bay come to play Ottawa in early March and it's snowing. Especially the Tampa Bay fans coming up.
We should just show up in our t-shirts.
What Tampa Bay team?
Tampa
fans.
Bay. They actually have a small core group.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in NASL they have a nice cup between the Florida teams.
Yeah. What do they call it? The Orange Cup?
Something like that. Well, but you were mentioning that in World Cup qualifiers, we had Cuba and Toronto on about 3 degrees.
Yeah.
And half their team defected before the game.
Oh, this cold is so nice, yeah.
All right, now the fun stuff. All right,
Wait,
so.
old man.
Oh no, you wanna?
What do you mean, old man?
You didn't say anything. You just.
I'm always quiet. Now,
He's practicing how to listen.
After how many years?
Hey, if he's gonna start now.
Sooner better than later,
Exactly.
right?
now I think the NASL should keep on expanding. Mainly because I'd like to see them at 24 teams, then split into 2 divisions.
Okay.
Conferences. What do you think
No,
about that?
divisions.
No, divisions.
Oh,
Promotion,
divisions.
relegation.
Okay.
European divisions.
Okay.
Now you might be only having 1 up, 1 down,
Hey, I'll take it.
but with 12 in the Division 1 and 12 in Division 2, you can do it.
Oh,
Yes.
imagine the competition. Oh my god.
But MLS.
But to me, and I think if we can get, even though it's not the highest level, if we can get interest and television coverage and to show
Seriously.
North Americans that this works.
Yes.
This works and makes for good competition. Of the struggles to stay up
Yeah.
and
not
the
try
fighting to get
That
the
first
fighting
day.
to get into that first place, to get into the top, because the top's going to give you more money.
Yes.
The top's going to, and if you drop out, you got less money for the team and the players and everything else.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the season, if you're in a playoff situation, lovey, because you got another season ahead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But
Exactly.
with up and down you don't, but near the end you've got 3 battles going on.
Yeah.
You got the battle to be number 1 of the whole league. You got a battle not to be number 12 of the first division. And you got a battle to be number 1 in the second division so you can go into the first division.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them keep expanding as long as it's feasible,
Yes.
Yes.
until you've got about 24 teams and go to a 2-division up-down system like the Europeans.
Now, for a while, MLS was debating promotion relegation, and do you guys think it would work in North America?
The which? Sorry?
Promotion relegation
Yes.
in North America.
Explain
yes.
this one to me.
Well, North American fans don't.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Fans-wise, yes. Owners, no.
Because the owners have no concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no concept. Explain this one to
No,
me.
it's what goes on.
It's what goes on in Europe. But
What goes on in Europe?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, promotion and relegation.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
Promotion
Well,
and
you were
relegation.
just talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I get
the
that.
fans, what you're going to remember is soccer in North America, unless what drives this, as far as the fans are concerned, are traditional fans who know the game, and you're picking up newer fans.
Yeah.
Well, get it done properly. Get it done the way the rest of the world does it, basically. And the new fans come in, and they learn something. It's not done the same as everyone else, but they learn something. But the fans will want it. The real fans will want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a damn sight better way of doing it, because that's the way the game's played.
Hell yeah.
You don't change the rules
No.
of a system. You play the system. The hockey leagues in Europe play like the NHL.
Yeah.
Fans are like,
But mind you, the fans are like football fans.
Yeah.
But the way the leagues are set up is the same as the big boys do. Why can't soccer leagues in North America do it like the big boys do?
because the
Exactly.
Americans can't do anything that seems European.
Well, for the North American leagues, a lot of clubs, it's about survival for them for a while. And if you get relegated to a lower division, let's say FC Dallas, they're barely surviving as a top flight team. I say top flight loosely, right?
Oh, yeah.
If they get relegated, what happens to FC Dallas? Like their stadium is a library at home games anyway.
Yeah.
So the other issue.
Do they call it Scotiabank?
The other issue is North America isn't like Europe, where in London you'll have how many teams are in London?
Too many.
Yeah.
So if one London team goes there, because
It's normally replaced by another one.
Yeah. Yeah, Crystal Palace might be
I think
coming
they-
up, and
I think there's
QPR 's
about-
going down.
I think there's 6 in the first division.
yes, but
It's Leighton Orient.
No, I'm not talking first.
The Premiership.
I'm
just-
talking Premiership.
Okay, yeah, there's Fulham, QPR, West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs.
wow.
Yeah.
Did we get everybody?
Yeah.
They got their fingers up. They're trying to
I'm
count.
sure we got everybody.
Okay, well, Mustefa is looking that up.
Meanwhile,
So if one London team gets relegated, then we go back to money. TV-wise, London is your big audience in England. So if one of them goes down, you still have 5 or 10 or 20 in the Premiership. And you still have interest from London. Now let's say in MLS, one of your big markets is Toronto. If Toronto gets relegated to playing at Walmart parking lots on Saturday nights, to that point, you lose a huge market, right? There isn't another team in Toronto so you lose Toronto. So that's one big issue with North America is your big cities have one club. If that one club gets relegated, you lose the interest of that big city, and it gets harder for the league to survive.
The thing is, we are, both ourselves and the States, are countries that are the size of Europe. The country's the size of Europe.
yeah.
So there's Mustefa is absolutely correct. That we're so large in area
Yeah.
and relatively small in population.
Right.
Especially us.
We have space. Come here.
But let's see,
Go
the
live in
European
the halfway.
population.
It's so condensed.
Yeah, but it's only as condensed as the States. If you think about it,
Yes.
in the United States, it's a huge landmass with 300 odd million people.
Yep.
Oh, I have checked.
it's
It
like-
is 6.
There's 300 million.
300 million.
Yes.
There's about 300 or 400 million people in Europe in something in the same landmass.
Right.
Mind you, there's a lot more soccer teams.
But I do, to touch back on your point about, if TFC ever has to play on a Walmart pitch, at least they might have a chance of having a runaway monkey being the referee.
And that's right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on to the fun questions. There's about 4 of them. first one in.
Those are all the serious ones.
Yeah.
I was just about to say we weren't having fun.
Well, we have to make our fun from the serious crap, but then there's the real fun ones. Now, in 2006, Zidane headbutts so-and-so from Italy. In 2010, we saw Nigel de Jong drop kick a guy. Now, 2014, there's Brazil. Do you guys have a pick for a player who's going to cause shit, or what?
I just want to say no one is going to beat Zidane. I mean, you know you play too much soccer when attacking someone, your first instinct is to headbutt him in the chest.
Okay.
And also, the one was, you got a point, because even though this is North America, you could probably get the situation and the name out of over half the people in North America.
Yes.
Over half the adults in North America would be able to come up with the situation.
Yeah.
So you're probably right. Nothing's ever going to beat that unless, well, if the States, they could get out a, semi-automatic and shoot. But then, of course, they'll just forget about it and say, you should arm the refs.
Yeah. What? You blocked my penalty? Pulls out an Uzi and just shoot. Oh yeah, this is great.
But in all seriousness, I don't. These things happen. So what's the most memorable one? Is right now it's that.
Well, for me, it's Zidane.
Yeah, Zidane is the moment, but something could happen.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a headbutt, a drop kick. So what's the next move going to be?
Well, I mean, there was wasn't in the World Cup. Well, I can remember it, and most people my age in England will remember it. Mm-hmm. After the quarterfinal game with Argentina.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that the hand of God?
No.
That's in England.
No, this is 66 is the World Cup in England. After the quarterfinal against Argentina, and you know when everybody starts, swapping jerseys.
Yes.
Alf Ramsey, the manager, went out and stopped everybody from doing it.
Oh boy.
Because that game was so dirty, the ref was paid off. Let Argentinians get away with anything. Mind you, we did beat them. And that, believe it or not, is where this dislike of Argentina came from. It's not the Falklands Wars.
It's not the war. Yeah, you mentioned this to me.
It's that. It's the '66 World Cup.
Yeah.
So that was a big one at the time. It's not as dramatic, but it was.
It's huge.
And it was headlines the next day, about it.
Of course.
The '66 World Cup was the one England won, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
England and Spain are the only two countries.
No.
No, we're still the only one.
Huh? No.
We're
France has done it.
no
To do what?
to be 100% on the World Cup final. To go to the
you've-
final and
Oh,
Does that
okay.
mean England has been to one World Cup final?
yeah,
Yes.
we've been to one, won it once.
That's right.
And now I don't want to get into the goal, but
It was. But we still won 4-2.
okay.
Yeah.
I guess it was paid back by the Lampard goal that didn't count in South Africa.
Oh yeah, I met multiple German fans who said it was a goal.
Yeah.
We,
Oh, it was a goal.
yeah,
It was.
We met one going to a hockey game.
Yep.
Our Dusseldorf fan, I still call him Kraut.
But how couldn't you? I mean, it's a yard in. Well, obviously, it was our goal. I mean, this is not something that, we've got to get the computers out and decide it was
But the-
like a thousandth of a
But
millimeter.
the best one though is when FIFA came up and said we need goal line technology.
No.
It's when Ukraine nearly tied it with England. And who was it? I think it was maybe Terry
Okay.
who just put the foot over the line and kicked the ball out. The main problem with it, his shoes were white, his socks were white,
White.
the ball was white,
Everything was white.
except the grass. How can you tell the difference? If you want to be simple, if the ball is white, you cannot wear white shoes or white socks.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Although White Sox, there's a lot of team with White Sox.
Yeah, but okay, but white shoe,
You
have to have coloured boots on.
Yes.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Who wears
Okay.
white boots?
Team
A lot of people
England,
wear white
Really?
boots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this isn't track. I'm just saying. Now, one thing I have is players wearing golden boots. I think you need to be a scorer to wear golden boots.
Yeah.
But apart from that, TFC had Maicon Santos wearing gold boots, and it looked weird.
Yeah, no, with the next thing to come up,
Yeah.
hit-wise, I'm going to go with the goalie punch.
Okay.
By the goalie or
Yeah,
punch
by
the
the goalie.
Okay.
He aims for the ball, but he misses by 45 degrees right into an attacker's face.
Now, if you miss
Wait.
by 45 degrees,
But now, is it going to be his teammate or
No, no, no. It's going to be the opposite. It has to be the
of
opposite.
course it's the opposite.
Yeah, you're not going to punch your own teammate
If you miss
By
by,
accident,
45
you never
degrees,
know.
unless your teammate's John Terry and he slept with your wife.
They were separated at the time. I don't see what the problem with it.
As Sid Saxera said, yeah, they were broken up at the time. John Terry was consoling her with his penis.
No. Plain hide the big purple partner.
Oh, when these go up on iTunes, you know they're all gonna say explicit content, explicit content.
Yep. All right, so here comes the next one. If
just
you,
had one fun one so far.
I know.
Yeah, this is great.
If you were a manager, now, given last year with Villa, all of us could have been a manager. We could have sent in our
Where's
thing.
the IQ monkey when you...
I haven't
you're-
seen him at my store yet.
If you were a manager, what's your desired formation?
Let's go
If
on.
you're gonna field your team, what's your formation gonna be?
Okay, I'll start. My favorite formation is 4-1-2-1-2. So 4-2-2 with a diamond midfield. I love it because it can double up as a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3. It's that central attacking mid in the diamond. You can either have him as the central attacking mid or as the center forward.
So the midfield can draw back and play real thick defense.
Yeah.
Or go right up front and then give some real firepower.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
Well, okay. Next question.
No, I got mine.
My formation is good, good, better, best.
Anyone's listening to this, I wish we had a video. This is a
Oh my
video pod.
goodness.
Just the one.
Told you it was strong, didn't I?
I know it is.
Yeah,
Nothing like pop.
I just tried some ginger beer, by the way, and this shit is got some kick.
I can still taste it. I've had a few sips of beer afterwards, and I can still taste the ginger.
That's what I love ginger beer.
All right, we're now entering the connoisseurs of food, folks. If you've never listened
We're
to us
getting
before,
ready to play Jamaica.
His old man, not mine.
but
Okay.
my formation, I did this when I was coaching. It's a 3-4-1-2.
Oh, explain this one.
Okay, you have 3 defenders, 4 midfielders,
Yes.
a central attacking midfielder,
Yes.
and 2 strikers.
Uh-huh.
But you can convert that into a 3-2-2-1-2. So you can end up having a 5 back line.
So you like clogging your midfield there?
Yeah, the mid.
Well, either clogging your midfield or your back line.
Yeah, the midfield.
Nothing more annoying than playing a 5 at the back formation. But
Yeah. You,
No, I hate having more than 4 defenders at the back.
Yes. Yeah.
It is atrocious.
but also with this formation.
Villa tried it, it was against Southampton or the game before that? Anyway, it was recent.
I don't know
And-
why you would.
And
Unless-
it was it was such a headache.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah, no,
but-
it worked when I was coaching, and I think it can work if you have the right manager and the right players.
Because that's why I love midfielders so much.
But this
because
is
they can draw back if you need more
Yeah.
on the fly.
Yeah.
So they can actually play defense, but
Your
because
midfielders have to be marathon
they're
runners.
interchangeable
but
between
that's,
you know.
But that's the idea of midfield. Your midfielders have to be your best athletes. They have to have the most endurance.
It's like playing center for
Your
hockey.
defensemen have to have the best feet. They have to be able to kick the furthest.
Best feet and best head.
Yeah.
Okay.
You talking about John Terry again?
Alright, go on to the next one
Okay.
before we go.
Well, I just wanted to throw it in now. 3 at the back versus 4 at the back. I prefer 4. Do you prefer 3?
I prefer 3 because midfielders are wingers in hockey. You're supposed to go help out. the
Because
defense.
that's why I like clogging the middle, is because the wingers can draw back, so you can clog your back at some point on the fly, like I said.
Yeah.
Or if you need more firepower, hey, they've got support. You know what I mean? Your strikers have
They're
support.
coming in off the wings. If you think you can,
But you're right.
So
But
you're gonna
that's why.
make your wing midfielders really run.
yeah,
Exactly. That's why
They
you
have
said
to-
they have to be their best athlete.
Yeah.
They, as you said, they should be able to compete in the Boston Marathon annually and finish in the top 10.
And be decent at passing a soccer ball.
Exactly.
All the
There
way
you
through
go.
the marathon.
Exactly. They have to dribble through the marathon. There we go. That's their.
All right, so Africa Cup of Nations is underway. With 3 games have passed. Any of you got picks to win?
To win, I'd have to know who's playing first.
Morocco or Ghana?
Ghana?
Really? You're, who's your dark horse? Morocco? As my dad said, it's Africa. It's known as the Dark Continent for a reason.
Anyway,
I'm right. That's a nickname for it, right? The Dark Continent's Africa?
That's right. Sub-Saharan.
Yeah.
No, I like Morocco.
I like Cote d'Ivoire just because
No, Cote d'Ivoire
They're,
is
they're aging
they're
out, though.
passe.
Yeah.
Eh.
The last...
They're the Nigeria of
The-
the
past
21st
2 was
century.
it was their year to win it. Was the past 2 years was their year to win it, and they didn't win it. So
Sounds like New Zealand in the World Cup of rugby. Just, this is our year, this is our year. They finally
beat
got
France.
It's like Canada in hockey.
Well, yeah,
well, they
yeah,
beat France.
yeah.
So
Well, anyone can beat France now, but
not England apparently.
they beat France when France was one of the best. Mm-hmm. I always remember that. I forget his name now, but
Anyway,
he went and he got across and got the try with 3 French players hanging on to him.
oh Lord.
Just boom. This big Maori fella.
So Morocco and
Ghana.
Ghana.
So who's your dark one?
Dark horse,
Dark horse. I really don't have one.
Togo.
Actually, there's
The real dark horse, South Africa. They'll be lucky to get out the first round.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to win it. I'm going to go with Ghana, and I've looked at how they came into the tournament. I'm pulling the lessons I've learned from England. England top of the group, getting into the Euros, doing sweet bugger all. So don't.
One
Ghana,
of many lessons learned from England.
Yeah. Ghana is a strong team, also because they beat the States. So I got
The only people who haven't learned them is
my
England.
dark horse though is Mali. They played Niger today. They were losing 2-0. They drew it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my dark horse.
Cool.
My dark horse was going to be Nigeria, just because.
Hey. That's the team I have to cheer for, or else Granite
Hey,
would shoot
Dark
me.
Horse Nigeria
Well,
winner.
Stephane can explain this for me. Go ahead. Why should they be the dark horse? I mean, for me, Nigeria is always there in Africa. They're a decent side, but they're never really a top African
Hey,
team. So
Argentina last World Cup could only beat them 1-0.
yeah,
The only decent shot Messi got on goal.
was a crossbar.
No, it wasn't a crossbar. It was going top right-hand corner. It was dead center, and the goalie just got his fingertips on it,
Yeah.
pushed it out.
Oh,
So yeah, for me, they're always there in Africa. But no, I mean, we talk about underrated clubs. Well, this is an underrated country for me. They always have that potential to do damage, but they just never quite get there. So the Arsenal of Africa.
So Germany then.
No, Nigeria has produced so many good players. But you're right. They haven't played to their potential. They have the players.
so Nigeria's your dark horse. Who's your winner?
I'll go with Ghana because Stephane said Ghana.
Just because he said it.
It's all
And they beat the US, why not?
All right, so final question of the day. If you could have any celebrity be a spokesman for your club. Now let's just stick with our English. Well, wait, no, that makes no sense because there's 3 villains here.
Just pick a celebrity for a club.
Okay, if you wanted, okay, let's say you were an owner of a club and you wanted a celebrity to be the spokesman for your club, who would you want?
Should we go in order?
All right, Terrence.
For a Villa fan,
Uh-huh.
it's bloody obvious.
Uh-huh.
So do I say it?
Go for it.
It would have Prince William.
Nice.
Actually, no, that's a good one.
Nice. Very nice.
Because he's a Villa fan.
Hell yeah.
Well, being a TFC fan and a Villa fan, through what we deal with, I think we need some comedy. Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Coaches, we don't need no stinking coaches. Just play and see what happens.
That's been TFC's motto for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they've had 8 coaches in 6 years, so.
Yep. And counting.
And counting. My club is a country, Canada, and so it only makes sense that my celebrity is Rick Mercer. Rick Mercer has done TFC, and that was one of the most hilarious episodes.
Especially,
I remember. I saw one of
Yeah.
those.
No, he went to a TFC game. He hung out with the players. He taught soccer players how to dive and fake injuries without looking like an ass. He hung out with the supporters, going up to the Red Patch Boys. They recognized him, and who are ya?
and he goes,
He's like,
I don't know how to answer that.
Yes.
But I loved his other line. It's like being in a liberal convention without all the heartache.
Yeah. And he did the TFC Massive with them. They had the song for him.
Yeah.
He's stout, he's short, he's got his own reports. Mercer. So, hey, Rick Mercer, you're on watch if I ever own a club.
I wonder who would take Jack Nicholson. Which club would take
LA Galaxy,
I don't see Jack doing LA Galaxy.
because he's a Laker fan.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, he's a season ticket holder.
I'm going with the personality-wise.
LA Galaxy.
Millwall.
No.
Jack Nicholson always acts like the asshole in all his movies.
If you want a celebrity for Millwall, you might as well get someone like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro. Someone who played a mobster, you know? That's all I have to say.
Now, one of the investors or owners, one of the owners, directors, etc. of OSEG also has money in Millwall. So I'd watch what you say.
Jeez. I'm just saying. Besides, it makes sense for Ottawa anyway.
Doesn't one of the guys on Dragon's Den, I think, has a bit of Millwall?
Who?
One of the guys in Dragon's Den, his name is Brett Wilson, I think. He has a bit of Millwall.
I don't know.
He owns a bit of Millwall?
I think.
Jeez.
Brent
What's with
Wilson,
Millwall?
he's the new guy, right?
He's been there for a while.
Oh, the dark-haired guy?
Yes, the nice guy.
The young guy. Youngish.
Not.
Relatively speaking.
I don't think he's that one. He's basically the he's the philanthropist there, the nice guy.
Okay.
I think we've strayed off topic enough.
Well, how many times?
Anyway, so thank you, Terrence. Thank you, Mustefa. And thank
Hey,
you,
before we
Stephane.
go, hats off to Drew Becky of the Ottawa Fury for making
Oh,
MLS.
right. I was going to mention that. First of all, again, thank you, Terrence. Thank you, Mustefa. Thank you, Stephane, for the episode today, for coming here. Thank you, Stephane, once again for hosting. In April, we've got an event lined up. Would you like to spread a little word about that,
Well,
Mr. President?
well, if you guys...
Yeah, he got sworn in today.
That's true.
Alright, so if any of you enjoy watching competitions with cryptic clues, like the Amazing Race,
Yeah.
we have an event coming up. Sign up. You gotta take pictures across Ottawa, follow these cryptic footy clues of places in the city. It's all along a route. Join us, it's for a good cause, Ottawa Street Soccer. Go to our website, all the info's on there. We even have our own page dedicated to the event.
as well as Mustefa and Stephane had mentioned last week that I did place the order for our inaugural scarf for the Bytown Boys Supporters Club, and they should.
One. This is the one scarf.
No,
Scarves. Scarves. Sorry.
The inaugural scarf.
Well, okay, it is the inaugural scarf. But it's
put
a
it up for
batch
auction. This is the original.
Hey, we can make nice money doing that.
Anyway, so the order's been placed. We ordered, I ordered 30 of them. The first 18, to those of you who did order one, they should be coming in this week at some point. As soon as we find out, by the next episode, we will announce it, or I will contact you at some point.
email you all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, events, scarves, anything else we're missing?
Drew Becky, Ottawa.
All right. So, as Mustafa's already mentioned twice, thank you. Drew Becky, former Ottawa Fury, local kid who just got drafted by
The
Columbus
Crew.
28th pick.
Columbus, 28th pick overall. Columbus Crew, you've got yourself quite a good player, but now we have to hiss at him.
I know.
So,
Well, I can't wait to see his rating in FIFA 13.
So what? 52.
create a team Ottawa Fury.
Just have one.
Any other announcements?
That's we're looking into the Canada USA game in Houston for the 29th to see if we have an event to go watch the game.
Yeah, I'll check if Gracie's in Ottawa here, the local Voyagers. Now, a couple
Well,
of them
what
aren't-
about Denmark and Japan?
That's not being televised, apparently.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, USA it is.
There's
Yeah.
a poker tournament on.
Could be snooker for all we know. Anyway. Okay, so thank you all once again for the episode of Veering Off Topic. The most comedic one I've ever been a part of yet. Anyway, thank you guys once again, and thank you all for participating. Thank you to the listeners. We do appreciate your support, especially on YouTube, and for those of you who subscribe to the channel. At Bytown Boys SC is our handle on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. If you don't have either or, you can go onto our website, bytownboys.webs.com. Has links to everything, including blogs, handles for all that fun stuff.
Yep.
And
Our videos.
our podcast as well. Previous episodes, including this one, which will be up soon, but by the time that's up, has no relevance. So
I'll be up sooner than later.
anyway,
Just worked their way into one out there.
good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.